it's funny how it's all through, Zoom and, not in person, but he has that ability to kind of, you know, make a difference in your life without necessarily being in person. And he really, when I've asked a couple questions now for the Q&As, and he really just makes you feel like you're asking a good question, and it makes you feel good, and it's a very positive experience. So, and then if he needs to twist the question to make it kind of more elaborate or different for other, you know, um, what would I say? Like for people who have different experiences or
Sure.
whatever it may be, he just makes you feel comfortable and confident and that you're doing the right things. And he provides the information back to you in a very positive way. And he's almost just appreciative that you're trying to get better. So it makes you want to get better. So, and you don't feel like, oh, I'm not the best out there. I'm not the strength and conditioning coach for, some college team. I just do the girls volleyball club in town. But you know, he gives everyone the opportunity to get better, and that's what I was looking for. And having the time to do this, I mean, it's nice that he even has this platform. But for me, it's just that positive attitude, and providing his experiences. And what I also love is like how he'll also present things that aren't always perfect. So, we're in reality here. You're not going to always fix everybody. It's not going to be, you're not going to be this always just a superstar with everything. And we have to learn from our mistakes too. And I think he also says that he's not perfect either. And it just kind of allows you to relate to him, and he's relatable. It's nice. And like I said, I feel comfortable emailing him if I needed to, even with this touching base, it's just, I feel like if I emailed him, he'd write back to me right away. So, I mean, I really haven't had to do too much of that, but, I really just appreciate, the time he puts in and the passion. I think, I could see it. So,
Yeah, I really understand what he's trying to accomplish, and it's a great mission he's on. Personally, he has really changed the way I treat, especially ACL patients. I found Phil through MedBridge. I was looking for like newer techniques and like newer research and new information about ACL rehabilitation. I'm a practice owner, so I've gotten away from treating patients for a little while just to manage the practice. But then I needed to jump back in, and I just, I just got to get better at this because I've been out of it for a little bit. So I found Phil, and then I went to the coaches club, and basically what I've done with my ACL patients has been so much better and significant than I had done before. And I feel like I'm providing such a new level of care for them. It makes me feel great, and my patients, I'm sure appreciate it, because it's just, there were many things that I wasn't doing and that I had not seen anyone do before. And the way he explains things, it's so easy to carry that right to the clinic and refer back to his videos. I look at him over and over, just trying to get things just right. But just mainly, just that I feel his passion about what he's doing, and it just encourages me to just, do it well. And it's just been a significant change for my practice and myself personally. My next step is to try to get my clinicians to jump on board and also learn from what he's doing, because I think it's impactful. It really is. And I'm not just saying that. It's made a huge difference to how I practice.
I've never had the opportunity to meet Phil, but Phil, you've been a mentor to me through your MedBridge webinars that you've done, through the FMS, the FCS stuff that you put out there, your ACL return to competition. We're actually starting to use that and kind of revamping ours for our physical therapists and our strength and conditioning coaches and anybody that's involved in our ACL return to competition. Athletes following a lot of those guidelines you put out there. I think it's, you take all this complicated research information that can be out there and you put it into a simple form to follow. Right now too, I'm looking at trying to do a return to comp of upper body extremity, using a lot of your discharge testings, your guidelines, your throwing stuff that you have out there. You just have a brilliant mind, a brilliant way of teaching things in a simple, easy, everyday use. So we really appreciate that for you. I know one big takeaway is the 3Gs that you had out there. I've always been trying and struggled to get my athletes to, brace themselves, use their internal integrity for their advantage so they're not hurting themselves. Since I learned that 3Gs, it's been like a light switch turns on. These athletes can do it. It's easy to teach, easy to follow, and they get it right off bat. So just thank you for all the hard work that you put into all this research and development, and just glad you're able to share this knowledge and willing to share this knowledge with us to help better provide care to our athletes and clients and patients that we see on an everyday basis. Being a long ways away, but yet you're able to touch many lives up here in South Dakota. You're awesome.
I would not be anywhere close to where I would be without Phil. So to be completely honest with you, even from a after PT school standpoint, I was thinking I was just going to go into an orthopedic clinic, work a 9-to-5 job, and I would be completely happy with that. And that was never my personality. Because the only reason I thought that I would be happy with that is just for the simple sake of I didn't necessarily see what I had in myself. So being around him and seeing what a mentor can actually see, one, he can see what was inside, what I was capable of, but then he also knows on figuring out what I would feed him. So the information that I provided him, he knew where I wanted to go as well too. So we would have conversations going back and forth on what I wanted to do, what he could see myself doing. And we really shaped out what would be an ideal situation for myself. And he was tremendous asset, and still is, to figuring out where I can take my career and my life. Now I can't thank him enough, and I tell him thanks all the time. But he's been a tremendous asset to where I'm at for right now. Just essentially, one as someone to talk to and bounce ideas off of, but then two, figuring out and kind of showing me what I am capable of to see what all possibilities are even out there for myself.